Are you ready? Another live stream. And we had some nice moves on the chart, no? So what's up, everyone? Good to have you here. Welcome to another live stream. Good to see you hang out. And it's time to counter chart using Elliott Wave, explain the thumbnail and also what to look out for with regards to certain levels where probabilities change. You need artwork on your wall. Yeah, I know. I mean, I just moved to this apartment, in another country. So we haven't done a lot. And also, it is a rental. We first wanted to rent before buying. So I'm not too inclined to put effort into this, apartment really. Yeah, you are right in a way, but I'm not sure if I want to do it because, it's a rental. Ali, welcome. Serga, Yuri, Yitender, good to have you here. Samuel, Sibel, Odin, Gwendy Zoo is back indeed. Nice to have you here, man. Say hi to your girlfriend. And you have been pretty much like AFK for a while, but hopefully it benefited the relationship, no? Spending time with the girlfriend. That's always what we said. So very, very nice. Currently enjoying the beach in Nice. Ah, are you? You're around the corner in that case, right? Bettina, welcome. Coins of Bit, please go down. Yeah, so I have a couple of announcements at the beginning of this live stream. Then we go into the Elliott Wave analysis, what to look out for, and what the thumbnail means. You'll quickly find out. And the probabilities from an Elliott Wave point of view, right? So giving us a directional bias. And then eventually I have to go again because I have a meeting with my business coach at 3 p.m., which is in 48 minutes. Welcome, Anzor, Matt Eagle. Good to have you here. Grand rising to all. Tawan Gat, welcome and respect, but dying to know your input, which is what I'm gonna give. Ganam, welcome. Lada, what is that? Is that a coin? I will share the straw poll in a second. Dorga, welcome. Jake, not a nice move. I gotta say, I actually do like this move down, and because it gives clarity and we know exactly what to look for, which impacts probabilities. But I'll explain that in a second. Joshua, welcome. Afshin, good to have you here. How do I get the new CVD? Check the first link in the description that says free CVD. Mondo Tav, welcome. Boan, do we see high price before going down again? These type of questions can never be answered as we don't have a glass ball. All we can do is analyze the chart, get to probabilities. Because this is a question where your answer is do we see higher prices? I don't know the English word. Do we see higher prices? Meaning it is a question where you're looking for a certainty, but the market can never give you a certainty. So one can never answer this question as the question is bound to be answered by a certainty, which is impossible. So one cannot answer this question. The only thing we can do is trade probabilities, know what levels to look out for, which is what we're going to do. Newell, welcome. Bitcoin goes up and down. Don't stress it. Exactly. Up and down. It's part of what Bitcoin does. Crypto Sarah, good to have you here, man. Still hanging out. Such a long time as well. Random name, welcome. Nice green badge, yo. This is for an altcoin stream. So tomorrow, Lada the car. Oh, I see. I see. Instead of Lamborghini, we go to Lada. Okay, couple of announcements, guys, before we start. One, tomorrow is going to be the altcoin stream, right? So in the afternoon, I'll be live and we're going to analyze probably a little bit of Bitcoin at the beginning, but then we're going to move into altcoins and do as many as we can in that live stream. Now, FYI, this is the link to vote for the alts. I have shared it in Discord already. I will share it in Telegram, and I also will share it after the stream in the YouTube community section, right? So that is where I can post stuff. So I click on enter, and this is for tomorrow, right? So this is for tomorrow. Make sure you read the top. What alts do we analyze during the alt stream 29/8/2024, which is tomorrow, right? So not today. Today is Bitcoin, tomorrow is altcoin. And the reason why I decided to do it tomorrow, first of all, last Sunday I was at the Grand Prix in Zandvoort, so I couldn't do an altcoin stream on the usual Sunday. I was thinking about doing it today. The problem is I wanted people to vote, like give people time to vote. And now you have 24 hours pretty much. So we have more votes, more people, and a better idea of what we should analyze tomorrow. CSU, welcome, Joel. What to do, long or short, depends on your plan. So the second announcement is that family of my sister is coming over Thursday night. And we actually, so that's one. So we'll have family here, which might impact the content. But two, I've been invited to go to the Monza Grand Prix. If you never ever go to a Grand Prix in your life, and now you go to 2 Grand Prix in literally 1 week time. So I will continue to make content, but this Sunday altcoin stream will not work. So we'll do it the week after again. And the planning is as follows, where Thursday night I can't upload an evening update because I'll be out with the family of my sister, South African family. And then on Friday, I will be making a morning update, and I'll probably do a live stream as well, but can't do an evening update because we go for dinner in Monaco. And then on Saturday, we drive to Monza because it's just a few hours away. We have Quali there, la-di-la-di-la. I'm not sure if I can do an update on Saturday, and then maybe I can do an update or a live stream in the evening because I will take my recording stuff. And then on Sunday morning, I should be able to do an update from the hotel room in Milan. So I will be trying to make content in between, but likely it's like one update. And in general, right? In general, if you have seen the banner on the channel as well, if you go to koenztrading, then it says weekend random, right? Because in the weekend, I tend to do some other stuff besides just sitting behind the charts. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit random, but I'll try to keep uploading. Saturday, not so sure. Sunday, I should be able to do something. Monday, we'll be in Milan for the day. Tuesday, and then Monday night, I think we are going to be back. So, yeah, so just so you know and that you are prepared with what's to come, I'll write a message about it in Discord, Telegram, and the community post as well. But I want your expectations to be met, and therefore it is important to me to make sure your expectations are right. So yeah, that's what's happening. So, and after that, I'm home. I'm home for weeks on end, and then my next trip is going to be 25th and 26th of September in Barcelona with Blowfin. You have the European blockchain conference, and I've been invited to go there with Blowfin. Great platform, one of the partners as well. So it should be fun meeting the team for the first time. Okay, so now that is finished and you kind of know what's going to happen in the upcoming time, let's get started, right? Let's get some shit done. So have a quick look here. Markets Mike, always a pleasure, Mike. Always a pleasure. If you have questions, let me know. What's up, Odin, Jeroen, by the way, Adam. Not sure if maybe a Band-Aid and Mark popped in as well, but welcome, guys. Samuel, can we say probably 500 loans first? A triangle, too early. Triangle only gets 50-50 probabilities if you have a wave D that is finished. Up till that point, a triangle does not get great probabilities. So one would preferably wait for more time. We have gone deep indeed, and there's still the possibility for impulsive continuation, but we're gonna cover that. Thanks, Odin Gwendizu. Do you like the BTCC exchange? Yes, I do. I've been exploring it, been testing it. So my main platform, I live in France, so I have access to it, is for now still BingX, but I've been actually using Blowfin more and more. And the more I use it, the more I like it. So I've actually been moving funds around, and I'm very, very happy with what's happening there. So that is also the reason why they are top 2 in pretty much everywhere you see my partners. So yeah, it might become my main soon. Yeah. Exactly, Hamza, and so does Ferrari. Did Dad say hi back? He said won't take long before I'm famous. Or something like that. I should watch out. I'm not becoming famous or something like that. I gotta check my WhatsApp. Nvidia earnings. Okay, we have some news as well. Tim, cheers, man. Isolated. Isolated is always, it's nice to have isolated, but this is personal preference. So if you don't really enjoy one exchange, make sure to check out the others, right? So Blovimping X, Bybit. Oksana, welcome to the live stream. Heike, Chester. Okay, let's start. So I have a meeting with my business coach in 40 minutes. We will easily be finished in less than 40 minutes and have some time for chatting and Q&A afterwards. Now, I do want to start on the weekly. So let me shortly organize my folders, please. Let me have a look here, see what I have. Might actually want to include this channel. I want to include that as well. Okay, include all of this. Boom. So we definitely have something to talk about, that's for sure. Just organizing this here. Weekly base channel, trend channel. That's for the bullish scenario. This is for the bearish scenario. That is for the bulls. Uppala. I think we are. This is bullish. And this is of course bearish. Okay, I think we're pretty good. We'll find our way. Just straight, shortly organizing everything. Oh, finally, of course, if you do see me drink something on the live stream, because it is important to stay hydrated, of course. By the way, Sibel, mijn vader zei, zo word ik ook nog wereldberoemd met lach-emojis. Everything I drink on live streams is always 0.0. I'm not sponsored, not affiliated to any drinks I drink, but of course one needs to stay hydrated, and I do like Radler. At least that's the name in the Netherlands. It's something else here, Toetel Twist. So it's not beer, no alcohol. I don't promote that stuff. Just so you know. Rudy, welcome. Mark, welcome. Osmos, what's up? Let's start. Let's start and explain the thumbnail and explain exactly what you guys have to be prepared for, but also the levels you need to keep in mind. Now, I want to start on a weekly time frame before moving to the lower time frames. And the lower time frames at the moment are arguably most interesting, because based on the 1 hour, 4 hour time frame here, the probabilities are directly impacted for daily scenarios and weekly scenarios. So the 1 hour is incredibly interesting at the moment. It's been actually very nice breaking out of the range we've been in for like almost 2 weeks, moving up to 65, seeing a rejection at the target box and moving to the downside. So everything very, very nice according to what we wanted to see. So 19 minutes in the live stream, let's start. Bearish scenario. Not in a lot of detail, but it is quite simply a bigger three-wave structure, and then you move towards the upside. Wave Y, minimum target 30K, right? Doesn't have the highest probabilities, and it won't get the highest probabilities for a while unless you kind of hit 38.5. That's pretty much where probabilities start to change. Now, on a daily time frame, which we'll cover in a second, if you do move below 49K, it's not great. Preferably for the bulls, this is your low. Right? That is preferably the end. Finishing an ABC, finishing a WX, and then maybe a triangle in Y, but then still you want that low to hold. It hit the common target for a three-wave ABC WXY on the daily, which I'll cover in a second. For the bulls, you preferably just have this low in and up you go, right? You do not see 49K again. You move to all-time highs. If you do move below this low here, the probabilities increase for a weekly bearish scenario, which is what we're looking for on the chart right now, what you see here, right? So a bigger three-wave structure, WXY or ABC. Now the ABC is very dramatic because your target for C is below 15K. It's very, very far away from, 15K, but at least 30.4K, right? Reasonable. And on the linear chart, it is 43.2K, which is even more reasonable, but we are on a time frame where price has pumped 300%. So the logarithmic chart is preferred here. 43 or 30K, that would be your minimum target for, in that case, a wave Y in an AWX and then a wave Y to the downside. Now, wave Y can be several structures, a zigzag, a flat, or a triangle. It's not yet relevant to talk about that in detail because the probabilities for the weekly bearish scenario are not higher compared to the bullish one at the moment, right? At the moment. Now, in this particular scenario, right, if we look for a three-wave, WXY, that means that inside our X or possibly B, if you look for a C below 15K, you need a three-wave structure labeled here as either a WXY, ABC, doesn't really matter. It's a three-wave structure to the upside where your CY moved close to the 1.618, which is still inside the boundaries for this to be a three-wave structure. But in that case, your all-time high preferably is the end, of course, of your bigger BX. And down you go. Now, mind you that wave Y can be a flat, which is a three-wave A, three-wave B, five-wave C. That would be a hilarious fake out. Grabbing the liquidity above all-time high, faking out bulls that think 100K next, and then down you go. So something to keep in mind, no? But at the moment, not the highest probability, but it is important to be prepared and also to know the levels. So the main level, right, that's what the thumbnail says as well, what you got to look out for. You don't want this level to be broken for the bulls. If you break 49K, the probabilities increase for bearish scenarios. And on the daily time frame, which means also weekly bearish scenarios. And on a daily time frame, the arguably only bullish scenario where you do take this low, it's just low probabilities, is what you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B, and then C to take the low of A, three-wave structure, and up. I prepared this for you guys just to say this is low probabilities, because you will see. I have no idea how many people you follow online, but just so you know, the moment people draw an expanding diagonal on their chart, it is never a highest probability scenario unless all other scenarios fail, right? It is always a low probability scenario. So the fact that wave A here is an expanding diagonal of some sort, low probabilities for an A, B, C, and up, right? So I just want to say that. On the other hand, what you have to be aware of is an impulse is structured down. So we then have a 1, 2, 1, 2 down in a 3. Now, as mentioned, on the weekly time frame, probabilities aren't higher for the bears, right? We got to be aware of the scenarios. It's just that the probabilities haven't changed yet on these higher time frames. Same on the daily. On the daily, this wave 2 in green touched the 886. You can see price retraced. Touch, came down. And the reason 2 is here is because we're then looking for a flat ABC, running flat in that case. By itself a rare structure, but still. This wave 2 hit the 886, rare target for 2, common for corrective structures. Right? So it decreases the probabilities for what you see on the chart, which is an impulse down. 1, 2, 1, 2, big wave 3. Now this is of course a scenario where you can easily move to below 30K. Peanuts for this scenario. It's just that it doesn't have the highest probabilities as well, right? 886, 67.6. If you hit that, probabilities decrease even further for this particular scenario. Now, just now in a very short period of time, I said, hey, if we are looking for a wave Y in green to the downside in the bear market scenario, right, the weekly bearish scenario, a flat is an option, which means that this being a three-wave finish structure, ABC, can be your wave A. and you can still have a B and a C. It's just too early to call, so I don't like to talk about it in a lot of detail. But as you can see, the bearish scenarios on a daily and weekly do not have the highest probabilities. We're going to talk about what's happening locally in a second, because that is what really matters. So let's go to the bullish scenario. And we also know the level to look for, right? 49K, simple. Now for the bulls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, impulsive structure. Right? This is currently your highest probability bullish scenario. Yeah, your target is not 500K or 300K or 400K. It is 81K to 129K. And this is your conservative, arguably conservative scenario, right? Where you just finish an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, the most bullish alternative is a 1, 2, 1, 2, where you easily move 2, 3, 4, 500K. It's just stupid to think about those type of targets already without having any sort of proof that you're actually going to move to those higher targets. So when we move up, the first scenario to keep in mind is the potential for a bull market to end here. That depends on the reaction that we get inside this box. What is price going to do? What are the type of ranges we're getting? Are the ranges corrective? If so, probability is higher to continue. Are ranges impulsive? And do we have probabilities to possibly impulsive moves down? Well, we could as well end a bigger structure here and get a bear market to the downside. So it's important for trade management, right? It's exactly the same. And I was there in the market when we got this move up here in 2021. And as price was moving up and we hit 20K and then we hit 30 and 40K and then we had 60K. I know clowns talking on TV channels, Bitcoin going to 500K by the end of the year, right? And then eventually, I hope they re-invited them to say, what the fuck happened? Because we moved back to 30, to 69, to 15. Get wrecked, right? Absolutely. Like, it's mental to think that when you're here, you are thinking about targets that are here. Doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense. So you have those clowns talking on TV about all of these targets. Doesn't matter. 300K, 400K, 500K, guys, we're at 60K, right? 60K, that is where we are. And this is a lot more sensible. And then based on what you see here, you can adjust the plan, right? You can look for impulsive continuation, look at volume, corrective ranges, yes. And then we're going to be looking for 200K, 300K, 400K, 500K. But that is not your go-to start, right? It's not your go-to start. So let's first even move above all-time highs, which appears to be a challenge for Bitcoin already for the past couple of months, no? So step by step is a lot better than talking about crazy targets because of crazy indicators and crazy whatever people say online. It's much better to keep your feet on the ground. Don't get taken into their moon boy hype. I mean, the term moon boy is there for a reason. And take it step by step, right? Just like with the push up here, people start talking about 500K Bitcoin. Look at what happens since March. Absolutely nothing. Nothing has happened, right? We're at 60K. We stopped at 70K. Moved down to 49K, right? Nothing happened. So also here, these type of ranges are the ranges we want to see up here, if we do continue or not. And based on these type of ranges, we can analyze the structures here, gathers a feeling for the probabilities, is this corrective or impulsive, and then look for continuation up or continuation down. And at the moment, based on the structure here, probabilities for now are higher still that this is corrective, not impulsive, increasing probabilities to yes on a weekly time frame, right? We're talking longer term, higher probabilities to take out the high, right? That is your target. It's not 500K, right? Let's first try and take out the high. Probabilities are higher. This is corrective based on the subwave structures from an Elliott wave point of view. Only if we touch 49K do we get a bit of a problem on a weekly time frame. But still, on the weekly, your bullish scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has an invalidation of 37.7k, right? Very, very low. Common target for 4 is on the chart here, 236 to the 05, 57.1, 42.8. Right? So there's still enough leeway. It's just that if you do take this low, of course, probabilities for the potential of a WXY will go up. Anyway, sometimes there's a little bit of a random in my analysis, I suppose. But after 4, we look for 5, and then we just observe price here, because your most bullish alternative, this one is for the moon boys that feel left out, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you go to the moon, right? But yeah, that is only stuff we will potentially cover if price actually takes the all-time high we have on the chart at the moment. Something to look at is this channel. This is a base channel which is taken from the low at 15k to the low here at about 25k to the first time touching 30k. Now what you're looking for with a base channel is a wave 3 and a wave 4. So what you want to see is a 1, 2, and then wave 3 should break the channel, which we did, right? We moved above the channel, which is something you like to see, because if it doesn't break the channel, you have to be aware of an A, B, C, and then a move down, right? But we broke the channel here, so that's good. But then for our wave 4, it's no problem to move back to the channel, touch the channel, but preferably we stay away from the lower trend line of the base channel for a wave 4. We don't really like to see this hit. Now at the moment, this is sitting at 44k, but of course with each new week, this channel is moving to the upside, 46, 47, 48k, right? So by the end, you are at the end of September, you're already at 46.7k with the lower end of this channel, right? So you actually in pretty much a month, don't want prices to drop to 47. Wait, here, yeah, 46.7k, as the probabilities then decrease for this to be an impulse to the upside on a weekly time frame, which again supports the narrative that preferably for the bulls your low is in. Now in a trend channel, you actually want price to move below the lower trend line. This is a trend channel which is taken from the high here to the all-time high to the low at 25. So if you look for an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you pull it from 1 to wherever 3 is ending to the low of 2. And then what you like to see is a wave 4 move outside of the boundaries of the trend channel, which you can see over here. So that is something we like to see, and that is also something that gives extra probabilities to looking for a wave 4 here. And that is exactly what is communicated in what you see on the chart here, which then also, of course, gives probabilities to looking for a 5 that we have to the upside. Risk management. Now we did hit important support when price was ranging over here. Actually, when we moved up, right? We always kept an eye on the volume profile of 2021, start of 2022, value area high, point of control, value area low. Important levels, and we have officially, of course, retested the value area high now, so that's good to see. But here we go again. If you do take 49k, you get back inside the volume profile. And what you definitely don't want to see is price being accepted inside the volume profile, meaning get back in, retest, change the structure, right? Probabilities are then higher to move to the point of control 38.7, which pretty much invalidates your bull market, but even also to fill the volume profile back to the downside at 30.6k. Now you might remember the 30k target, because if we go to the weekly bearish scenario, guess what? Here it is, your wave Y, 30.4 in confluence with the value area low, right? It's nice how technical analysis works sometimes. So something to keep in mind. Okay, let's go to the daily. Bullish scenarios. Actually, don't want to talk about this one. Let me drop this down. This one is less relevant now. Up and up. So, okay. Okay, now for the bulls, there's two scenarios I'll cover where this is your low. The first is the most simple one. Now in Elliott waves, it is generally recommended to first look for simple structures. And simple structures is what we mean by these is the zigzags and the flats. Those are most simple. Triangles are sometimes considered to be part of simple structures, so zigzag, flat, triangle. However, a triangle is actually a very complex structure to count with the rules that it has. So I always say, okay, the simple structures is a zigzag and a flat. Those are easy. Then you get the triangle that's in the middle, and then you get to complex structures, which is a mix of everything, right? Now, preferably at the beginning, you start looking for simple structures. So in this case, we have an ABC on the chart here, 5-wave A and a leading a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, running flat in your B and then a C down, end. We ended on a high amount of volume. Invalidation, of course, is the low. Now let me show you the high amount of volume. Here you can see the volume on TradingView on the Coinbase chart, but pretty sure any other chart likely has a high amount of volume here in this move to the downside. Now, actually, that is something that we like to see, because what you look for in a corrective structure is, of course, sideways price action, and it is nice to end the correction on a high amount of volume. It's also something that Elliott Wave International themselves mention in their content, that it is quite common to end corrective structures on a spike of volume, right? Which is something that we had over here. So preferably for the bulls, you don't take out this particular low. Also, if we are looking for impulsive structures to the downside, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be bearish, of course, potentially. In a normal impulse, preferably your wave 3 has the highest amount of volume, but here it is the final candle. It's arguably your wave 5. Now, wave Cs have a higher probability of ending on a higher amount of volume than a normal impulse. Now, wave C is an impulse, but I'm talking about a wave C versus a wave 1, right? This lowers the probabilities for the double 1, 2 earlier, right? Increases probabilities for your ABC, mainly because after this high volume candle, price moved back up and touched the 0.618, which is an invalidation for a wave 4. So you can't really count this as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't work. Now, of course, a wave 1 can have an extended 5 and end on high volume. It's just a lot less common compared to it being a C. So something that fits with a bullish narrative, of course. Now, if this is your low, then you do want to see bullish structures to the upside. And that is where, well, this 4-hour range comes in, which I will cover now. Let me go. I'm trying to find my folders here. So on the 4-hour time frame, if we are bullish and this is your low and you look for continuation, there's 3 structures that we look for. An impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correction, continuation. Or a multi 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and up. Now, from this low, when we look at it, it looks clearly like a 3-wave structure. I mean, it's definitely the look. There is a slim chance to count this as a 5-waver, with this being a 2 and this, or sorry, a 4 and this a 2. It doesn't look really awesome, right? It doesn't look really great. But there is at least still a slim chance when you go to a 50-minute chart to count this as a big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a possibility. So we can't deny no impulse in this move up. Doesn't look as awesome. So of course we've been looking for the potential of a diagonal, right? Where you then have your 1, 2, 3, you look for 4 and then a 5. Now this contracting diagonal is almost invalidated because we don't want to hit the lower trend line, which is sitting at 57.6 to 57.8. So in other words, you don't want price to go down, right? You want price to preferably hold this low to increase probabilities for the bulls, right? So there we go again. We have very clear levels. Now what that means, right, what it means is that locally, here, on a 30-minute chart, what we want to see is price move to 61.6. Now, I know that what you see on the chart now is a bit different than the morning update, but this is an alternative impulsive count. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is longer than wave 1. 5 is your extended wave. Finishing 3, look for 4 and 5. The invalidation for your wave 4 is the 618 taken from the high of 2 to the low of 3, 61.6. In other words, if price can move up to 61.6, probabilities increase. This is a 3-wave structure. And then we label this as an A, B, and a 5-wave C that is finished. Probability is higher to move up and take the high. As long as you do not take 61.6K on a 30-minute chart here without taking out the low, the probabilities are higher for an impulse to the downside, naturally, right? Because you have a high volume move here. Probabilities are generally higher for this to be a wave 3 unless you take out the 618 at 61.6. Right, so in other words, probabilities are higher to take out this low compared, at the moment, unless price hits 61.6. That is your main level for the bulls. Hit this before this, and probability is higher for that. Which at the moment is not the case because we haven't hit it. So probabilities are higher to take this low unless you touch 61.6. Right? Now, because of those probabilities, this is a scenario that I got in touch with. Oh, wait, 1 second. Is this... Sorry, 61.7. My chart was still on log. 61.7. There you go. Now, if you move down and do not touch 61.7, this is your final bullish scenario where a triangle is not involved, but a flat. So in this case, you look at this as a 3-wave ABC. Most common for C is to take the low of A. This is an expanding flat. 3-wave A, 3-wave B, 5-wave C. So in that case, an impulsive move down in C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take out the low of A, 56.1K. Taking out the low of A, no problem. There's still at least the potential for bullish structures. It's just that from a probabilities perspective for the bulls, it's not too great. And this flat here, which you have maybe seen online, is not a great structure, guys. It's not great. Now, did it hit the common target for B? Yes. Minimum target for C? Well, we're still en route, right? We need to see price moving down. If we take out the low of A, cool, check, right? Target for C, hit. But this flat is 5, or maybe going to be 6 times longer than this move up. I spoke about it in quite a bit of detail in the update earlier today. If you count this as a 1, 2, 3, your wave 2 is 5 to 6 times longer than your wave 1, which is very uncommon for a wave 2, right? The common target for 2 is like a 3, a 2 fib time to a 2 fib time, maybe a 3, but you start stretching it after a 3. We're at 5 already. We're between 5 and 6. So it's not great for this to be a 1, 2, 3. And arguably, counting this then as a WXY or ABC, which are, by the way, bearish scenarios, have a higher probability than looking for a 1, 2, 3. Now, the alternative is something I'm going to talk about soon, is that, of course, this is already a finished structure, right? That's coming. That's coming. I'll be talking about that in a second. I'll also do a summary at the end because I analyze a lot in this stream, but I'm going to do a summary at the end of the levels you need to keep in mind where probabilities change, right? Because that is, in the end, what we trade. Sibel, KW. Okay. Now, the most boring scenario is what you see here, is a complex structure, right? So instead of a simple ABC, we are now having a complex move on the chart, W, X, and then a triangle in Y. Now, I like to say that it is too early to really talk about this triangle in a lot of detail, because preferably you look for D to be in, which is clearly not the case. We would be working on a C here. Right, so when we think about triangles, preferably you wait for D so that you have more confirmation of, hey, this might be a triangle. At the moment, it is very early. The reason I want to cover this is because that in this scenario, you can take the low at 56 and still be bullish, but it's just going to be a continuation of the range. So probably till now it's easily the end of September, maybe mid-October, you're just going to be going sideways without anything happening, and then create your wave E, hopefully some nice bearish news the moment your wave E is printed, and then move back towards the upside. Grab the liquidity of the news, break the AC trend line, but of course not C, that's an invalidation, and then move up. What I also like to say here is that even if you count this as a WXY, preferably your wave Y low is in the low of this A, right? Because your common target for Y is the 1 to the 1.236, which has been hit and respected. Anything below here is going to reach rare targets for Y, which is of course not what we like to see. So I'm not a big fan of scenarios that do W, X, and then a zigzag in a Y, because you're going to reach levels with your C and then A, B, C that are rare for a wave Y, right? So it starts to be difficult to from a probabilities perspective. So again, for the bulls, preferably your low is finished and that's it, right? So taking out 49K and definitely higher probabilities to move to much lower levels, right? Also, by the way, with regards to support to lower levels, as you can see, I don't have a lot of support here. So pretty much if you take 49K, I'll be looking for 45, then 42, 40, and then we're back into the 30s. Right? So that's the staircase pretty much. So this is a scenario I keep in mind. Don't really like to talk about it in a lot of detail per se, but yeah, be aware, right? Be aware. So in this case, we're going to continue this range, and definitely after taking 56K, we don't want to do right that. We want to see a nice three-wave structure, take out the low, no problem. Look for signs of strength at more local support. Local support being 54.8 and then a 52.6. Okay, right. Finally, wow, man, I actually, is it rare to have a triangle on W and Y? That's not allowed because wave W cannot be a triangle. Only wave Y can be a triangle in a WXY. And in a, and wave X, by the way, wave X, sorry. Between W and Y, only wave Y can be a triangle. Wave W can only be a zigzag flat. Right? Wave Y can be a zigzag flat triangle. Wave X can also be a triangle, but it's never been seen that wave X is a triangle followed by a wave Y is a triangle. So generally you're looking for only one triangle in a WXY in the position of X or the position of Y. Altcoins is for tomorrow. Make sure to check out this link and vote for your altcoins for the altcoin stream tomorrow. Now, with regards to the flat, right, we're looking for a wave C, which is an impulse. And we do know that if price hits 61.7 before taking out the low, a wave 4 is invalidated, probabilities increase to take the high. Now in a bullish scenario, of course, in this case a flat, having a wave C being an impulse, you look for price to bounce towards the upside. But interestingly, for the bearish scenario, it's exactly the same. If we look for bearish structures, WXY, finished three-wave structure, minimum target for Y is reached, you also look for an impulse down, right? 1, 2, and then eventually 3, 4, 5. In this case, we don't want to see 617 hit. We want price to continue making some lower lows on decreasing volume, right? That is important. If price moves down on increasing volume, there's potential just to continue and look for the lows. We want price to make lower lows on decreasing volume. In other words, volume, and then you have the price correcting now, so price moving down. Oh, we make a new low, lower high. Okay, price correcting down, lower high, and then have something like this going on. That's what we like to see. to create multiple 4-5s, right? So eventually 3, 4, 5 to finish your 1. Now this is the same as a wave C. In both cases, it's an impulse. It's just that your move up is different, because here you look for a 3-wave 2 and a continuation down in an impulse. Sorry, my alarm going off. So an impulse down, 3-wave correction up, impulse down. So you can see that it's actually a similar structure. After a flat, you look for a move up, preferably an impulse, which is a 5-wave move. And in a more bearish scenario, you look also for a move up, but then a 3-wave structure. So in other words, if we get a couple of lower lows on decreasing volume, I'm going to start looking for longs, because I want to trade the bounce with the potential of course, continuation, right? Depends on the move we get to the upside. No? Vincent hit 61.7k before taking out the low, and it increases probabilities to take the high. Now, of course, in the triangle scenario, we know that, okay, we can have our 3-wave A, 3-wave B, still have a 3-wave C, right? 3-wave C, 3-wave, but again, it's too early to really talk about triangles. We're going to start talking about triangles if you get a 3-wave move down here, which we don't have yet. Right? So a 3-wave move down, 3-wave up, and another 3-wave down, not breaking this low. Anyway, now I do start talking about triangles. I wanted to keep it simple. So yeah, very, very interesting to look for longs. Either hit 61.7 and I start to get interested to look for longs, not to take a long there because we do have resistance there. Or move down on low, or create lower lows on decreasing volume, and I'm interested. Yeah, I'm interested. I know what I'm looking for. I've already been trading, of course, but I know for new positions what I'm at least looking for. So if we then talk about probabilities and the level, the levels to keep in mind, right, with regards to the thumbnail as well. Cool. 49k. Take that probabilities increase for bearish scenarios on the weekly. Not yet the highest probability, however. On the daily time frame, that is the same. This is quite simply your low, right? For the bulls, you want to hold that low. For the bulls as well, moving above 70k, right, invalidates a double 1-2 and increase probabilities to take all-time high. Now on a 4-hour time frame, this is where shit happens really. Weekly is fine and daily is fine. Move up without taking the low and hit 61.7, invalidates a wave 4, increases the probabilities. This is a 3-wave structure, which increases probabilities to take this high, not the low. So 61.7, important. Take out this low and look for some 4-5s on decreasing volume, right? Increases probabilities. This is an impulse down. Looking for correction, and depending on the correction, we know more, but at least longs become interesting. And that is quite simply it, to be honest. So we are moving down. 61.7 is for pretty much all time frames your most important level. However, the probabilities, so now we start talking about probabilities. Locally, the probabilities are higher to take out this low unless you hit 61.7. And if you take out this low, probabilities remain higher for this to be an impulse, which is a 5-wave structure, and then either as a wave C in a big flat, but I'm not a fan of that because of the length in time. So arguably probabilities would be higher to look for at least a 3-wave ABC, if not a 1, 2, 3. Something we'll know more in time. So for now, weekly and daily, there's no reason yet to think like, oh, bearish, oh, 30k or 15k or low 40k. But on a 4-hour time frame, the bulls definitely start to struggle. Right? This is not really what you like to see. So taking it step by step, level by level, locally, solid risk management, Counting this as a 1 and a flattened 2 and then look for 3 up is I think that's a low probability scenario just because of time. It then makes a lot more sense to count this as a finish structure or a WXY ABC as explained. And yeah, if you do take the low, think about triangles. So that's pretty much it. So voila. And it's literally 3 p.m. Man, I've been talking so much. I have my meeting with my business coach now. So unfortunately I can't stick around. When too long? You guys, these type of questions make me realize you are a losing trader. So first of all, don't ask these questions. Second, I cannot trade for you. You can trade for yourself. Third, you need your own plan / your own strategy, which takes time. So your question should be, how can I learn, right? How can I learn Elliott waves? How can I build a plan? How can I be long-term profitable instead of long or short? If you ask those questions, just remove all the funds from your account, put it somewhere else in the bank, but stop trading. You're going to lose money, right? So build a plan, build a strategy, trade the plan, trade the strategy. If you want to know more about that, Diamond is the place to be. But you need to build a place or a plan or a strategy. Do you like scalping or swing trading? Between the two, I'm not a scalper, so that would be swing trading. But I'm a day trader / swing trader, I suppose. This is the chatting between Mark and Sibel. I'm here for Mark. Is it rare? Yeah, so I answered this question. Render altcoin stream in diagonal. Wave 4 is already longer than 2 in price, so it doesn't even work. I agree. Diagonal is close to invalidate, or if 4 is longer already, it's already an expanding diagonal, which is rare, but it got so low to the trend line. Completely agree, average kiddo. Triangle looks like most sense. A triangle occupies the whole of wave 4. Yeah, it can appear in a wave Y. So what if we just move up from here? What if we just move down from here? So I mentioned if we do move up to 61.7K, that is your level. You want to see it. If you move up and take 61.7 before the low, probability is higher to take the high here at 65. I just want to answer this. The last weeks felt positive. Yeah, when price was here, probabilities after this 3-wave structure up, after this push up, our probabilities were higher to take the high. So literally for 1.5 weeks, I've only been talking about probabilities higher to take the high. Now with that we got the high, those probabilities played out. Now we identified our areas of resistance, very nicely respected, and price moved down. So so far so good actually, very, very nice bit of price action. And now we focus on the recent move to the downside. Is it possible to have an expansion in a correction? What is possible for the correction to be an expansion, breaking all-time high first? Yes, that would be a expanding flat. That is possible, or a regular flat. Yes. 61K retest. Those type of questions are impossible to answer because those are certainties. What's the probability of a 61K retest? It's too specific. You are simply looking for either an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need to know the wave 4 targets. And in that case, your wave 4 targets are taken, at least if you take them from the higher pivot there. Even that one. Your biggest wave 4 targets are here, where 61K would be your 0.5. So is there a probability to hit it? Yes. But do we need to hit it? No, because this is your whole area and we have already hit the area for wave 4. So one can't give specific probabilities to specific levels, only to areas. On W time, we're taking all-time highs high, but at the 4 hour, there's no higher. Dude, yeah, diagonal is not looking great. So in that case, you want to move into triangles or lows. What is the lowest wave 4 can go on the big time frame? 37.7k. Essentially regarding diamond. Okay, cheers, Janif. I'll make sure to check it out. I'll make sure. Looks like the sign for Jens. Yeah, when everyone is looking for something, you know, how often does it play out? Not often. So, you know, for the bulls here, this structure to the upside is simply not great. It's very three-wavy. It's very corrective. Your bullish scenarios are strongly getting limited, either 1, 2, 1, 2, but that's not something I'm looking for. Counting this as a 1, flat in 2 and a 3 is not something I'm looking for. So a triangle, if you do take 56k triangle, but the probabilities start to increase to then take the low, right? If you do take 56 here, the probabilities increase to take 49, and then probabilities on all the time frames will slowly plummet. Which is the wave 4? No, this cannot be a wave 4 compared to this short structure being your 2. How to trade this? Trading Elliott waves is, of course, first of all, you need to have very good knowledge before trading it. Yeah, it's time, I know. So first of all, learn the theory. On my YouTube channel, I have a playlist on Elliott waves. And I have a couple of other links for like free stuff in the description. Check Elliott Wave Education. And if you want to learn more about trading Elliott waves, check the setups channel. Link in the description. I think it's like the third link or something. So the setups channel is where I explain more on how to trade Elliott waves. How do you find support or resistance when there is no change in market structure? I use other tools. I use volume levels. I use time frame horizontals. I use simple SR levels. Yeah, volume profile. Yeah, Fibonacci. Okay, guys, I gotta go. My business coach is waiting for me. We already 6 minutes delayed now. So hey. If there are any remaining questions, put them in the comments. Make sure to vote for the altcoin stream tomorrow, right? So check out this link, and we're going to do some alts tomorrow. So, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here, and I'm going to catch you soon.